morning, Prof. How are you today? Happy
Good morning,
Sunday.
Bibby. Happy Sunday to you too. I'm very well
Yeah,
indeed. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well. Viewers, good morning to you. Welcome to your favorite Sunday morning show. It's the Sunrise, and I hope you're all gathered around the TV, waiting to hear what we have for you today. We have got a lot packed for this morning. How are you doing? Let us know in the comments. Let's know what you got up to over the week. It's a brand new week today, and I mean, I am so looking forward to what this week has in stock. Starting from the service today, Prof. How about you? Are you looking forward to it as well?
Yeah, definitely, as always. In fact, I wanted to say a special shout out to some of the viewers who approached me on occasion or messaged me and said, we enjoy the show, we look forward to it. So thank you very much for supporting us and your followership, and keep doing it. And as you keep giving us the feedback, we keep doing what we do and even better.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I was going to talk about the weather, but then I thought, there's nothing to even say about the weather because it's just been doing yo-yo for the last 1 week or so. A couple of times I've asked myself, are we truly in summer? Like, where is the summer? But anyways, I'm sure whatever the weather is where you are today, it is absolutely fine for you, as long as it's not raining and you have to go out in the rain, right? But anyway, so Prof, for this morning, there is something that's been going on in the US. I don't know if you've been following it. I am so sure that you have been following this because you tend to kind of follow all of this news. So it's around the Olympics and, some of the athletes being something around people breaking the rules and, and you have different parties talking about, well, you're not allowed to, they shouldn't find this in your bloodstream when you go for your testing before your event, right? But someone in particular, I don't really know her name, I can't remember, but I mean, I just stumbled on it and I was thinking, okay, so this person, they tested the person and then they found some banned products in this person's bloodstream. And because of that, there's been calls for the person not being allowed to go to the Olympics, and some people are saying, well, try to understand with her. She's gone through a lot. She's going through a lot, and I feel like the whole states is kind of divided at the moment in terms of what should happen. So I thought this would be a very good conversation to have with Prof, especially because you are you follow all this news and you know about it, and also thinking about, even as Christians, what does it mean to us? Because what I see from everything that I've read so far is that because you love someone, you just love them, you just adore them, maybe they're even like a role model to you. It's like there is absolutely nothing they can do wrong in your eyes, so no matter what, it's like, I don't care, even if they said they committed murder or something. Yes, there's God's grace, there's God's mercy and all of that stuff. So I thought, let's discuss this. I mean, I really want to know what you know about this story, because just to be sure that we're talking about the same thing, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, well, yes, thank you, Bibby. I think I know exactly what you're talking of. And I think just to make it more succinct, I think in essence, what you're asking is a topic we've talked about quite a bit, which is the role of justice in love, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Love and justice, do they go together? Is it possible to love and still insist on justice being done? But to the story you were talking of, I think this is about a lady called Sha'Carri Richardson. She's a sprinter in the US. Yes, she just really burst into the limelight recently. She really tore the tarmac to shreds when they did their trial. And she completely, outpaced everybody, destroyed the opposition, ran one of the fastest times in the world.
Sorry, Prof. Viewers, you see what I said? As in, he knows all of this. I just read the headlines and all of. See, all right, go on. Yeah, I didn't lie. Yeah, well done, Prof. Yeah, go on. That's why you're the Prof, anyway.
So she ran 10.86 seconds, one of the fastest times in the world at the time, anyway. I mean, other people have subsequently run faster. But the point being that this prodigy, only 21, it's almost like bringing the sport, at least in her country, back to being world contenders. And she'd qualified for the Olympics, and people were looking forward to that. And then suddenly, a couple of weeks ago, this news broke that she'd been banned from competing. And what was the cause? That they had found marijuana in her bloodstream, which is what you were referring to. And of course, once you see that, there were a lot of comments, a lot of recriminations. And then as more of the story came out, it turned out that she had suffered a personal loss, a significant personal loss around the time of that trial. And so she made a mistake. She took marijuana, took it, and then it showed up in her bloodstream. So she recognized that she had done something wrong. And the Athletics Federation in her country said, well, unfortunately, we're going to have to ask you to step aside because the rules mean you will not be able to represent us. And that's what it is. So, but the controversy you're talking of then is that some people now have different groups of thought, but the two extremes, or the two, if you like, the two camps, generally speaking. One camp says, oh, but there are extenuating circumstances, number one. Number two, the substance in question has not been shown to actually lead to any performance improvement. Therefore, you should be able to make an exception for this person. Since they are so promising, since they are so special, you should make an exception for them so that they can run. Yeah. Then the other party says, so where does it all end? You can always find a reason to make exceptions. That's why there are rules. And the rules, if the rules have been broken, there won't be special rules for this person and for other people. If these rules have been broken, she was very well aware of the rules and she chose to break the rules. Therefore, you do the crime, you do the time, in essence.
That's right? Yeah.
And so you have this, lots of argument. Some people have even included politicians. Some other sports people have come out.
I saw the one with the president, asking the president to intervene into the matter. But I mean, it's even interesting that people would say, oh, she's only 21. And I mean, when you were 21, what were you doing? That kind of a thing, and they're right to say that, because you can literally say to yourself, oh, but I mean, as a 21-year-old, I didn't really know any better. I was just living life and all of that stuff.
You could say that.
There are rules.
There are. In fact, somebody would say to you, yes, but were you an Olympian?
True. Exactly. That's
the amount of discipline and exercise, discipline and focus and determination it takes to get to that level. So, I think the conversation here really is not so much about, I guess, what should be done in this case, because I think the guidance is very clear. Okay, the IOC the decision has already been made. She's been dropped from the team, and that's that. I think
it's sad. It is sad.
It is. And exactly that's the point, right? So the conversation around this is what's, I think, perhaps even more interesting, because this brings us to a situation, to the very question you're asking. When people are asking for an exception to be made, are they saying that the rules should not have been set in the first place? Are they saying that the rules don't apply to this person? If this was somebody they didn't like and they didn't love, would they be saying the same thing? Right? If this was somebody who was maybe from another country who didn't represent their interests, would they be saying the same thing? And to the question, is it possible, or should it be that the fact that I love somebody means that then I'm duty bound to support everything they do, regardless of whether they've done something right or wrong? Obviously, in this case, when we say right or wrong, we're not talking of moral right or moral wrong. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying that there are rules that have been set, the rules of the club, if you like, the Olympic club. You're going to belong to that club. Here are certain rules. If you don't belong to that club, doesn't matter. Right? It doesn't matter. You can do that. You can have your marijuana in a country or in a state that allows that. That's not a problem. But the Olympics have their rules, right? So I think for us, from a more personal perspective, there's the question around, what is this about, right? This particular conversation being had. On the surface of it, you look at it and you think, oh, it's just about somebody that people have sympathy for and they're trying to support her. But is it really what it's about? Or is it more about this new wave, this new social wave, where what we describe as the horizon, landmarks, rules and things are being turned upside down? As long as they suit people's interests, they are supported. But once somebody finds, hang on, it no longer suits my interests to abide.
And they are able to,
So then the person goes and backs on a campaign to first to undermine that rule, right? To give it a bad name, and then eventually to try and overturn it.
Do you know, I see it Sorry, Prof. I just want to say that I see it as, this thing around there is power in numbers, right? Like where you can get, and we see it happen all the time now. If there is an issue, you just need to have enough people backing that, and then something will change. And I think that's the way this is being taken as well, where we know that there are rules that we need to adhere to. And if someone breaks the rule, there should be some sort of consequences for that. But of course, if you're able to rally up enough number of people to speak against this person being punished for breaking the rule, it seems it might work, because we've seen it work before. We've seen people get away with some things because they had enough people, they had the numbers, speaking for them.
Yes. I think, of course, in this case, let's be clear, right? We're not talking of the merits or demerits of the rule itself. Okay.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
That's a different thing. Because,
that's a different thing completely.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because in society, in life, you can see some laws that are unfair. Right? And somebody has to stand up and say, this is not right. But that's not what we're talking of here. We're talking of rules of competition. It's like football, absolutely, right? Somebody talks about offside, the offside rule, and the team suddenly they've played really well, but they've scored 5 goals, or they've tried to score 5 goals. Each of those goals was offside. The other team didn't play as well, but they abided by the rules, and they scored 1 goal that was not offside, and they won. And then the fans of that club suddenly embarks on a campaign and says, no, you should make the goals for this particular country count, right? Because they played so well, right? So they should have won. Exactly. Which, in principle, it might be right, but it kind of completely undermines the whole point. That's why you have games, because there is no game unless there are rules, right? Yeah. Games, by definition, are defined by principles and rules, and that is the rules. Some of the rules are illogical, but that's what makes it the game interesting, right?
That's what makes it interesting, yeah.
So, and I think so here, I think we're asking, is there a sense of entitlement here, right? And this is not now just talking about the people in question, but even to us as individuals. Do we sometimes carry along with us a sense of entitlement that somehow thinks that we're entitled to a free pass when it comes to certain things, right? A free pass when it comes to things that we expect others to do, but when it comes to ourselves, somehow there's always a good reason for us not to do it.
Absolutely.
And then bottom line, we may always default to the fact that, this is a silly rule anyway. Who came up with this rule? Why are we doing it? But until you ran foul of it, it wasn't a problem.
That's right.
That's right. So, and I think we're trying to get that balance. So we're not talking of the merit or demerit of the rule. I think we're talking of the mindset that talks about and looks to shift the horizon once it doesn't suit our narrative. And I think that's where the danger lies, right? Yeah. Because for every society is defined by norms, right? Cultural norms, values, norms, and practices that ensue from those norms. And once you start to move all of these things around, you end up with a society that has no values, right? So the things that we decide, and you see some of these things happening, right? So suddenly somebody comes and says, this thing that has been accepted as the norm for all these years, why is it the norm?
Why is it the norm? Yeah.
Right? But in order to attack the norm, you have to go to the values, because once you can change the values, everything else falls. Absolutely. And so you have all of these things. So that's why some people who are on the other side are saying, hang on, this is not just about this particular instance. If you change this, what are you saying to your children? What are we saying to our children? What are we saying to the other generations? You need to stop here. Where does it end? At the end, you may then end up with a sport where nothing counts anymore, because people will say you changed that, so why don't you change this? And so there is that other situation. And again, somebody will say, when you consider a situation that we're talking of sport, the apex of all sports, the Olympics, is really all about focus, right? It's all about discipline, being able to do something within boundaries that ordinary people, because these people are almost like they have superpowers, right? I mean, they can do things that the majority of us cannot even dream of. Even if some people, even if they take performance enhancing drugs, they still will not perform as well.
Well, it's like we would say that it's not in their blood.
So these people are really, really talented, right? And they are disciplined, and for discipline to make any sense, you have to have guidance, you have to have rules. So I think my perspective is this, right? And it may not be the same as many other people. Of course, why should it be, right? We're different people, different views. But I think that what we are called to do as Christians, and we say this all the time, we're called to love, right? But loving does not mean that we support what a person does unconditionally, right? Do we think that Jesus loved Peter?
Yeah.
When after, he said, "Get behind me, Satan."
Yeah.
He still called people out for the things that they didn't do, not necessarily saying that because you've done this thing wrong, or I'm calling you out on this you've done, it means I love you any less. No, these are not. You should not. We don't measure the level of love we have for one another by how much we support them and how much you support.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You can't say you love somebody and you're always tearing them down at any opportunity. Right?
Well, it's how you go about things. For someone that you love anyway, if you see that they're doing something wrong, you should be able to correct them in love. That's what the Bible says, right?
In fact, that is love.
And that's love, because if you decide to turn your eye away from what they're doing, just waiting for the day they will be destroyed, then how can you claim that you love that person? So. Yeah.
So in fact, the point you've made now is that which we see. Again, I've said this on this show many times in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, where love does not rejoice in injustice or seek the truth.
Yeah.
Right. So the fact that you love somebody does not mean that when that person is being involved in something that is not in line with justice, that you say, well, because I love you, I have to support you.
Yeah.
No, that's not compatible with love. And we see that in God's example, right?
Yep.
God loves, and yet his throne is founded on the foundation of righteousness and justice.
Yes.
Right? So I think that I don't think these things are mutually exclusive. In fact, a third group of people have said exactly the same thing. Oh, I really love this person. I support her. I was so looking forward to seeing her perform, and I mourn with her. In fact, I even cried when I heard about this. But unfortunately, she knew what the rules were, and she broke the rules. That is not to say that, in this case, we're saying that makes her a bad person. It's just unfortunate. The same way you say for the footballer, great player, but you just broke the offside rule. That is annoying, but unfortunately, we have to accept that wasn't a goal. So they say, I support you. I look forward to seeing you compete at the earliest opportunity. I'll continue to fly your flag. But in this case, because the rule was breached, for the integrity of the sport, right?
Yeah.
For the good of society, we have to say, unfortunately, you have to step aside. And we support the fact that you have to step aside. We don't like it, but we understand.
But we understand it. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. And it's like, if we bring it back home to us as individuals, as Christians, what we are saying is, as we said, you can't say you love someone and they're doing something wrong and you just look the other way just so that you don't offend them or you don't hurt yourself. That isn't love. We should be able to love, correct in love, as the Bible says, So, and I think this is leaving all of us with a probing question around, when I am speaking for someone or somebody or a group of people, from where am I speaking from? So if I'm defending a group of people's actions, what am I doing? From where? Where is my motive? Why am I doing that? Is it because I love them so much and I don't want them to go to jail, or I don't want them to be punished or whatnot? But yes, let's leave you with that. Viewers, we can continue for a while now, but of course, our time is very short. Please don't go anywhere. When we're back, it will be our Spotlight Minutes. See you soon.
There remaineth a rest for the children of God. The first man, Adam, was born into the rest of God, the Holy Sabbath. What if you were created for rest and not stress? Every Sunday throughout July, Pastor Temi Odishide will be taking us into the rest of God at House on the Rock, London. Come and learn of the labour required to enter that zone of rest, to unravel the mystery of the Sabbath, and to function in rest during times of uncertainty. Join us at 9:30 a.m. each Sunday. To come in person to the Rock Tower, 49 Tufnell Park Road, N7 OPS, please register on our website beforehand. If you cannot come in person, be sure to meet us online on YouTube or Facebook at House on the Rock London. Spread the word, don't leave anyone behind. It's time to enter the rest, and let us enter together.
Spirit, soul, and body, I am blessed. In Jesus' name.
Hello.
Hey, Aduke. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, Aduke. Welcome.
How are you?
To SonRise on this lovely Sunday morning.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm doing well. Thank you. And you?
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so good to see your face. Viewers, please welcome Aduke, who's joining us on our Spotlight Minutes. You know, before we go into anything at all, can you tell us, what does Aduke mean?
Beloved, I guess. Yeah. I think
so
it's
sweet.
actually Aduke Oke, which means a beloved peacock, but I just go with Aduke.
Beloved what?
Peacock.
Peacock.
Peacock, yeah.
Well, I think maybe we should just pick that up from now and just I call you Peacock.
So, yeah.
But Sister Peacock, so, you know, usually when we get people here, we have a lot of viewers who will be looking and thinking, oh, I don't know the face, or I'd like to know a little bit more about Aduke. And maybe even just these few minutes, you've got some fans, whatever the case may be. Would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself for people watching and perhaps your fans? What is it about you that you'd like us to know in just this short minute that we've got?
I don't think I've got fans, but yeah, I mean, mom of two, live in Oxford, happily married. I studied law originally, worked as a project manager for a couple of years, then I became an entrepreneur, and I also have a social enterprise called the Sister Network, based in the UK. So yeah, that's me.
Sister Network. Actually, before we come Sister Network, you said you live at Oxford.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I dare ask, does this mean you've never been to the Rock Tower before? Oh, amazing. So there you go. I think that this is amazing for many of our viewers because they haven't actually met one of our virtual members, but here is Aduke. So, you know, it's completely bona fide, just virtual for the moment. But very, very good to have you with us. Thank you for joining. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's so good. It's so good to have you. Wow. So, well, anyway, we know when next we're in Oxford. We know who we're visiting. And a life group about to start over there as well. So that will be very, very good. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us for this morning's Spotlight Minute. So we do have two options for you, and this is where we ask you either questions or we give you a word. So the first option is tell me something. So tell me something basically means I'll give you a word, and then you try to use that word as many times as possible under 30 seconds. Or you can go with all about you. All about you simply means Prof will ask you random questions about yourself, and then we'll count how many of those questions you are able to answer under 30 seconds. So now you remember for both options, it's only 30 seconds you've got for them. So which one would you like to go for?
All about me, I
think your face said, I think her face already said it before even she opened her mouth to say it.
So, well, somebody called Prof. You might use a word I don't even know what it means.
Well, I'm not that harsh. I will give you a very simple word. You know, I would have given you a very simple word and you'd be able to use it. Anyway, Prof, I hope you're ready for all about her. You know,
I am ready.
That's what she's going for. All right, Aduke, are you ready?
I am as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, so the timer will be on the screen. If you can't see it, don't worry about it. I'll tell you when the time starts and when it ends as well. So, Prof, are you ready?
Good to go.
And your time starts now.
What's your all-time favorite movie?
Pretty Woman.
What's your ultimate dream job?
What I do now.
What emoji best captures your essence?
The one rolling her eyes.
What was your favorite age?
Totally 30.
Who is your favorite band?
I can't remember the name now. It's the Nigerian band that sang Olufumi or something like that.
Okay.
Star Plus.
Star Plus.
Star Plus, I wrote.
Time up.
5, I think. We had to help you out there.
That was 5 questions, and I think
in
fact we'll probably say 4 questions, and then because you said the Nigerian band that sang Olufumi, and of course, well, I know Star Plus, so yes, we'll give you 5. So that was 5, not bad at all, but well done.
We'll give her 5. Plus she did a plug for Star Plus, so maybe that's
How lame am I? This is like 2021, right? Okay.
No, that's fine. Oh, wow. Thank you so
well
much, Aduke. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's been fun being with you. I hope to see you. Well, we hope to see you again soon. And definitely looking forward to seeing you at the Rock Cathedral, at the Rock Tower, by the way, no Rock Cathedral.
Or the
Oxford Tower, right? We could have a tower in Oxford. Yes, hope to see you soon.
All right. You guys are
all right.
Thank
have
you.
A great service, and we'll see you soon. All right, bye.
Let praises rise from the inside. Mediocre, average, or regular is not your calling. You are called to be great. In this insightful midweek live class series this July, Pastor Temi will be teaching us how to reposition ourselves for greatness in the second half of the year. Every Wednesday from 7:25 p.m. on Facebook or YouTube at HOTR London, it's going to be revelatory, impactful, and life-changing. Don't miss this one. Come unleash the greatness in you. See you there. Us on fire from the inside.
Oh, wow. Well done, Aduke. I mean, that was so good. Actually, you know what to say first is like, it's actually really good to have someone who's a virtual member of the church who hasn't been to the Rock Tower before, you know. And I meant it when I said maybe we would have Oxford Tower as well. Maybe we'll have something and we'll have members growing. But it's so good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming. And yes, thank you for getting 5. That isn't bad at all.
She did well, yes. And also, like I said, for bringing Star Plus back into the line.
Exactly. You know, it just reminded me of, I started like singing the song in my head, you know. But yes, that's really,
I know some people are listening and thinking, just Google them, right? Google them and listen to some of their songs.
Google them, absolutely.
Yeah. I think they might be on Spotify too, so go ahead, check them out.
Yes. Viewers, thank you so much for staying with us this morning. It has been fantastic. And as always, as we say, please do let your friends and family know this is the show to be on Sunday morning. You know, how else do you want to get your day started, a Sunday started, without this show? Like, you know, but it is good to have you join us this morning, and we hope you join us next week as well. Prof, it is time for service, and as always, please take us into service.
Thank you, Bibby. Indeed, it's time for the service, and it's time to go to the Rock Tower. And I think when we get there, there's a very special group of people that's there every Sunday. I'm talking of no other than Hill City. And of course, they lead us into the place of worship. On the back of that, our very own Pastor Temi, always the word fresh in season, something to look forward to. I know I'm looking forward to it. Maybe you are too, because you said so.
Definitely.
And I believe everybody here that's watching us is looking forward to it. So why waste any more time? Let's go straight to the Rock Tower for the service. See you there. God bless you.
See you guys. Bye.